Okay, we're still in part modeling. Next topic we're going to cover is the creation of complex holes. So let's jump over to Fusion 360. And what we're going to do is we're just going to do a sketch. Let's pick this front plane here. Let's see. I want to do a 2-inch by 6-inch rectangle and say finish sketch. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a block. And this block we're going to put a number of holes in, and then we're going to do a sectional analysis to show you what those look like. So let's take this 2-inch by 4-inch block. We're going to extrude it. We're going to extrude it back, we'll say -1 inch. And that gives us a 2-inch high, 6-inch wide, 1-inch deep block. Then what I want to do is I want to do a new sketch. And I want to do a hole. Holes are best usually by doing a point. So we're going to create a point, and I'm just going to place that there. But I do want to make sure that I got it kind of in the right location. So I'm going to put a dimension from the back, and I'm just going to say 0.5. Say good to go. And then I also want to do one from the side here. So let's say overall I want it to be 1 inch in, and just hit, let's see here, 1 inch in, and hit OK. So that gives me my location for my point. Now, the hole tool is located in the create. So I'm going to select hole, and then I have some options. I can do at a point, or I can do a from a sketch with multiple holes. So what I'm going to do though is I'm just going to select the thing here, just select the 1 point. So I'm going to pick that. Now, there's some options. Now we went ahead and there's a thing called reference. Now, if we hadn't dimensioned the sketch, I would be able to use these to set reference dimensions, but we're already good to go. We'll do that on the next round. Now, for the hole, you can do at a distance. You can do all, which will send a hole through the entire thing. In this case, let's go make this first an all. Then you have some additional options. So at the very bottom, you have the depth. Now we've set that as all, so it's going to go through the body, and then we can set the width. Now the block itself is only 1 inch wide, so having something that is 1.3 inches will take out most of your block. So let's go ahead and say, let's just say 0.5. Once I have 0.5, then I can make some selections. Now, you have a couple of different options. You can do a simple hole, and I'm gonna zoom in so you can kind of see what's going on here. You can do a simple hole, you can do a counter bore, or you can do a counter sink. If I choose counter bore, then I can do some additional setup. So for me, I always think of a sink as having, it wants to drain, so it's going to have angles to it. And then counter bore is just simply going down. It's boring, right? So I have a depth of all, I have a width of 0.5, and then the last 2 bits that I can do is I can set the overall width of not the hole that goes through, but the hole at the top. At this point, it's saying 0.55, but if I change that to let's just say 0.6, I get width, I get a little bit wider. And then when I go and change this depth, and let's say I want to go ahead and make that 0.6 as well, what you'll see is I have 0.6 wide, 0.6 deep, and then I can change that to whatever I want to. Let's say it doesn't look right, it looks too deep, so I can change that from 0.6 to 0.3, and you're like, all right, that's what I would like. So I created a point in my sketch, I selected the point in my selection, I then did all to go through the block, changed to a counter bore, and then modified the dimensions to match what I would like for it to do. So if I'm looking from the top, I've got that design like that. So let's go back to home. Now I want to go ahead and redo a sketch. So have another sketch. Then what I want to do is I want to create some points. I'm just going to do 3 additional points. And then what I want to do is I want to add some dimensions to those as well. So I have a dimension to there. I want that to be 0.5. I would like dimension from there to there to be 0.5. From here to here, make that 0.5. And then I want from the center here to here, I want that to be 1.25. And then I want to basically evenly space these out at 1.25. And then have this guy go from here to here. And have that be 1.25 as well. Okay, so now I have my points that I want to place holes in. And so I would like you to do some basics. So in this point, we did a counter bore. In this one here, I want to create a hole, and I just want to make it simple. So instead of hole type be counter bore, I want it to be simple. I just want to go completely through and hit OK. My sketches went away, so I'm going to go back and click those back on. I'm going to do an additional hole here, and this one I want to do a countersink. Now you see how when we change that, we're doing an extent distance, so I don't want it to go all the way through. I don't want it to go 2 inches. I just want it to go 1. And then the width of it, that's fine. 82 degrees is fine. And let's say this bottom depth, I want it to be 0.4. You can make this up as you go along. If I hit OK. Now you see the differences. I have counter bore, I have a straight through, and then I have counter sink, right? It's a bowl, holds water, lets it drain towards the bottom. And then the last one is up to you. You can be as creative as you want to, whatever it is that you want to do. So I want to do, what do I want to do? Let's just say I want to make it look a little crazier. Distance, no, I want it to go all the way through, and then that's good enough for me. All right, so last bit, and because I didn't say this or didn't cover it, I want to do one more thing. I want to do a sketch. I want to do it here, and I just want to create another point. And I'm going to create this point over here, and it's totally fine. Hit Finish Sketch. I'm going to come back to my tool for putting the hole in. Click here. Now, the thing we didn't cover is once I pick the hole and go, say here, I have this thing called reference. Now, this is actually fairly handy, because what you can do is if you hadn't located or dimensioned, you can pick a distance to go somewhere. So let's say it's 0.5 to go, we're saying it's 0.5 from this edge to here, and let's say that's okay. Then the overall width, I want to reduce it from 0.45 to 0.25 to make it smaller. And then I want it just to be a simple hole. So now it's smaller. Now the last thing is, if I'm confusing you, it's okay. So I put a hole. I changed the sizes to make it right. I've put one reference and said I want it 0.5 from there. I can select the second reference and pick this distance here, and then modify that distance. I can go back up here and change that as well. So instead of trying to dimension it, as you create the hole and point, you can create a reference distance from edges in order to locate that hole. So that's just the last one for practice. All right, so now hit home, kind of centers this thing up. What I want you to do is to do the inspect tool. I want you to do a section analysis. I want you to pick this plane here, and then I want you to kind of show me what's going on in the best view with your hole. Now the block is 1 inch wide, so the center is going to be at 0.5. So once you've got your, in this case, 5 holes, go ahead, take a screen capture of this, and then you're going to submit that as part of your submission. So there you go.